Back to one of our top stories, of course. 5 former Transnet executives are out on bail for alleged multi-million rand tender fraud. They're accused of helping the Guptas make illegal money from the parastatal by flouting tender regulations.
But former Transnet CEO Siyabonga Gama denies any wrongdoing. So let's bring in Karam Singh, our Executive Director at Corruption Watch, for more on the story. Karam, thank you so much for your time this morning. Let's first establish context to this conversation. How did we get here? Obviously, this involves the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, as well as numerous testimonies, including from even some of the accused who we saw being arrested.
Well, thanks so much for having me on the program. I mean, I think what's important to note is the comments that have come out from the MPA, that this has been a long-standing investigation, that the MPA has not relied exclusively on the testimony coming out of the State Capture Commission. I think that testimony and the findings coming out of the commission hopefully, substantiate the independent investigation that's been done by the MPA. But these are issues which have been in the public domain going back to at least 2015, when affidavits and whistleblowers came forth. We know that there was a significant investigation done, independent investigation done in terms of what happened at Trillion. So, these issues that are now coming to the head with these investigations have been in the public domain for at least 7 or 8 years, and certainly predate the findings of the State Capture Commission.
Karam, looking in from your perspective, do you see there being a strong enough case here? Because, I mean, they have gone for someone that's quite big in the CEO, of course, Mr. Gama. Do you see there being an actual serious case here?
One would suspect that there is. I mean, the MPA has been extremely cautious up to this point in terms of enrolling cases. We know that the MPA has a very high threshold when it comes to what's required to enroll cases. They need to be able to prove their charges, the criminal charges, at least beyond a reasonable doubt. So one would suspect that indeed there is a strong case. And if in terms of what we would be relying upon as the public, if we were just to look at the findings coming out of the State Capture Commission, then certainly Mr. Gama, Mr. Wood, and their colleagues and accessories certainly do have a strong case to answer to relating to tender fraud, money laundering, violations of the PFMA, and the like.
Yeah, I mean, as we're looking and taking a look at actually these charges as well as some of those accused, I mean, even having Transnet suffering about 1.5 billion rand in losses as a result of the various transactions that were recommended by the likes of regiments, for which it was paid about 229 million rand in fees between 2015 and 2019. And as you're saying there, Karam, that it's been a long time coming. We do know in South Africa as well, we understand that we go through the sort of the arm of the law, so we let the law procedure take its course. What unfortunately falls short is whether or not we're going to see even the higher profiles in orange overalls. You and I are having a conversation about certain transactions, and we're talking here about Gupta-linked companies. But we both know that the Guptas are still not in South Africa, and the higher profiles and the higher profile politicians, I wonder if they're ever going to see their day in court, never mind their day in court, but those that have indeed been implicated and found guilty, will we see them behind bars?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge question, and it's something which we're all sitting on the edge of our seats waiting to see. I mean, we've known that we had an era of state capture which lasted, well over a decade. And, very senior people up from the former president through these officials who are being arrested now. You're talking about, 500 plus people who have been implicated through the course of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry. So the MPA's had a very difficult job. We know that they were also captured, that they also had, were hobbled in this era. And they don't have a track record up to this point of successfully prosecuting these high-profile cases. It's been a long time. So we have to just take one case at a time and hope that we can see some progress on these cases. The MPA have talked about 8 or 9 seminal cases that they seek to enroll. So we've seen cases now enrolled in relationship to the Estina Dairy project in the Free State. We're now seeing these cases enrolled in terms of Transnet. We had the previous arrests earlier in the week in relationship to officials related to Tegeta. As the Eskom story comes out now, we would expect to see some accountability coming there. So, I mean, I think these state capture-related cases are going to now begin to fill our court rolls, and they're going to stay with us for a long time, because we know, even if we just look at the defense strategy of former President Jacob Zuma, that the criminally accused can use all sorts of tactics available to them to try to prolong these cases, to try to delay the cases, to try to delay their inevitable day in court. But you can only play that tactic for so long. So, as Corruption Watch, broadly as civil society, we need to applaud the NPA for getting us up to this point, and we need to continue to support them that more cases get enrolled, and as you say, that these lead eventually to prosecutions and high-profile people who are implicated, who have got a case to answer to, being prosecuted and being placed in orange overalls.
Are these Karam, are these genuine arrests? Are these genuine cases, or is the NPA just going after the former president Jacob Zuma? Are they trying to squeeze him by coming for what we would call his people?
No, I mean, I think these are genuine cases. I think that would be a stretch to say that this is some kind of a conspiracy or witch hunt against Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma was head of state for a significant period of time. We have thousands and thousands of pages now from the State Capture Commission, which show how through the Guptas and through other people, even the Bosasa matters, which didn't have anything to do with the Guptas, that there was this project of state capture, that there was the repurposing of state institutions for the private gains of individuals, and that this was supported by high-level politicians in the governing party. So this isn't a witch hunt. If it was a witch hunt, we would have seen the cases enrolled a lot earlier. The NPA has been extremely cautious up to this point, and we need to deal with each individual case on its merits.
Well, we're definitely going to see how the might of the law actually unfolds when it comes to this one. Karam, thank you very much for your time this morning. Karam Singh is the Executive Director at Corruption Watch, obviously just reflecting on these arrests.